Audio Jungle.
Greetings and welcome, ladies and gents. I'm Super Gamer, and Sonic the Hedgehog has officially turned 26 years old. Sadly though, Sonic Mania will not be released until August. So, I can't review it yet. But I still figured you guys would want a Sonic video of some sort. And that's when I realized I haven't reviewed Sonic CD yet. I don't know why. So, without further ado, this is Sonic CD for the Sega CD.
Sonic is journeying through Never Lake where he finds the Little Planet, which is said to appear on the last month of every year. Upon arriving, he finds it to be chained up by Dr. Robotnik, who carved his face on the side of the mountain. That narcissist egghead. It is up to Sonic to free Little Planet from the clutches of Dr. Robotnik. This is also the first game in the series to feature Metal Sonic and Amy Rose. Yes, that Amy Rose. Let me start off by saying that this is the first Sonic game to have animated cutscenes. It's really well made. Viewing it on an actual Sega CD, not so much. This game is honestly one of the best looking games I've ever played on the Genesis, second only to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. As for the soundtrack, or should I say soundtracks? Yeah, apparently this game has two different original soundtracks, one released in Europe and Japan, and one released in the US. Both soundtracks are really freaking good, and I highly recommend you take a listen to both of them. Me personally, I prefer the American soundtrack. I don't know why, I just feel like it fits the levels better. Gameplay-wise, Sonic CD is very similar to the previous Sonic games. You go fast, collect rings, bounce on enemies, and spin dash. The spin dash, however, has changed its controls to confusing degrees. In the previous game, to spin dash, you press down on the D-pad and press the jump button repeatedly. In Sonic CD, you press down on the D-pad and hold the jump button. The thing is, I'm just so used to Sonic 2's spin dash that playing this game, it constantly throws me off. I can get used to it, sure, but when I return to this game after a long period of time, my brain resets to the Sonic 2 control. Like the previous two games, there are special stages to enter for a chance to get a Time Stone, not a Chaos Emerald. That's right, the Chaos Emeralds were replaced with Time Stones in this game, and really the only difference between them is that collecting them all won't grant you access to Super Sonic, unlike the previous games. There are two ways to get the good ending. One is for bringing 50 rings to the end of the stage, and two is finding a robot hidden in all the zones. In the game, you can pass these signs that say past and future on them to go to the past or future. However, this feature does have some bugs to it. For one thing, you have to be traveling at maximum speed in order to travel through time, which is kind of hard to do considering the game's level design. The levels are designed to be more about exploration, which I appreciate, but it's also a double-edged sword. Another thing is, going to the future is absolutely pointless, considering that the robot you have to destroy is in the past, so it defeats the purpose of going to the future in the first place. The special stages aren't much better. You travel in a 3D plane, destroying all the robots to complete the stage. If you touch the water, the timer will drop fast and you'll lose the stage. My problem with these special stages is that the control is rather finicky. It can be pretty hard to beat these special stages with these controls. But in the end, I'm at least glad that I can pick my poison this time around, and the special stages are much better than the godforsaken special stages from Sonic 2. Let's talk about the bosses. I hate the pinball boss, and defeating the first boss is easier than taking a nap, but the rest of the bosses are some of the most creative in the series. My favorite is probably the one where you have to burn out the platform from under his feet.
And now it's time for the spoiler section.
Sonic makes his way through Little Planet and into Stardust Speedway, where he faces off with Metal Sonic. Probably the reason why Metal Sonic is such a popular character is because of this boss fight. Sonic beats Metal Sonic to the finish line, rescues Amy Rose. Then he makes his way to Metallic Madness. 3 words: screw this level. This is by far the worst zone in the entire classic Sonic series. Why? Because it's a freaking maze, and the final act is the only stage of the game with bottomless pits, which I hate in my 2D Sonic games. Again, I'm looking at you, Sonic 2. Thankfully, the final boss is the best in the series so far. For one thing, you get rings. Huzzah! Secondly, the final boss is relatively challenging and well balanced. Sonic rescues Amy from the crumbling Little Planet and runs off, leaving her behind. The bad ending consists of Dr. Robotnik running off with one of the Time Stones, and Sonic knocking him out of the sky with a rock. Dang, Sonic, that was a good throw. Have you thought about any other careers? The good ending just consists of Little Planet disappearing in pixie dust. What?
And that was Sonic CD for the Sega CD. And overall, it's actually a lot better than I remembered it.
Coming back to this game, I thought it'd be mediocre at best, but it actually still holds up very well, and I can recommend it to any Sonic fan.
Until then, I'm the Super Gamer, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!